Boy, g'day guys, it's Sam here from Build Not Bought, and today we have an exciting build. We've got a goddamn race car today. Okay, so since this isn't your average four-wheel drive, I think instead of going outside then inside, we need to really break this thing down a bit. So I think we'll just start with the back end, work our way forward, and then see what's going on inside. Okay, so this thing is actually from the USA. Some of you may know, have heard of like King of the Hammers, insane race over there. So this was the Jimmy's frame from the States, and basically that middle section is all that's left of it. Once it's landed here in Australia, Mike's gone through and pretty much built it how he wants to be built. So extended the back end here, we've got an extra fuel cell put in because, as he mentioned in the first part, he's doing more long distance, high speed stuff at the moment, so there's more fuel range there. Obviously all this stuff up top's for cooling. We've got the radiator, all the cooling lines, everything's braided, the fuel lines are all braided. At the moment it's just running on 98 fuel, standard fuel for the LS. The back diff is basically, well, it's a Ford 9-inch essentially, but obviously the whole housing's been custom made and braced. It's got M300 chromoly axles with about 40 splines, so they're quite fat. The center's just a full spool, so it's completely locked all the time. Coming around the side, all the suspension, so it's sort of a trailing arm setup on the back basically. They've got the lower control arms, everything's triangulated, so there's no panhard or anything. As this thing drops up and down, it stays true. Right, yeah, so the suspension is a 5-tube shock with just a 2.0 coilover. It's kind of like your triple bypass, but it just gives you a lot more play and flexibility with setting rebound and dampening and all that. That trailing arm setup gives it heaps of travel, like I don't know how much, but it'll be a shitload, that's for sure. The sway bar's got like a torsion setup, so that sort of gives it a lot more stability and slow stuff, but then it probably would still articulate a lot on the slower stuff. Spare containers here of like different oils, engine oil, transmission fluid, diff oils, all that on the tracks if you need it. There's a second battery here, we'll get into that later, but that's to do with the winch and the setup on that. Everywhere I look, there's more and more stuff on this. There's a fuel cooler here, heaps of reservoirs, breathers, all sorts of stuff going on. The radiator's down there. There's another one up there I've just seen as well. It's got hydraulic bump stops, of course, so when you get fully airborne, which we will in a sec, maybe. That won't be happening. Anyway, moving forward, we'll get to the inside in a sec. And then we'll pretty much look at the front end. He's got the hood off for us. Right, yeah, so the front end, LS motor. It's an LS3, it's been stroked, but other than that, not a whole lot's been done. It's obviously running a dry sump, going so much off-road, you don't want it to starve on oil. It's sort of renowned with these LSs, they sort of starve if they go upside down, you know. Hydraulic brake booster, so that's, doesn't have your standard vacuum booster, it's just hydro, just to save a bit of space there, and they're obviously stronger. At the front, there's just the winch is a high mount winch, twin motor. It's 24 volts, so that's what that battery in the back was for. The standard battery is just here, so that runs everything in the engine bay and inside, and you've got your 24 volt hookup to run that winch to give it a bit more speed, a bit more pull. Shocks on the front are just the normal 5-tube, just like the back. Diff's also a 9-inch, similar setup, steering cooler at the front. Everything's hydraulic on this, so hydraulic steering, hydraulic brakes, hydraulic everything, you name it, it's got it. They've actually flipped around the intake manifold, which I spotted, and it's a good thing because basically the intake now is towards the back, and a lot of dust coming forward won't end up inside the car, so it gets that clean air. So that was just as simple as flipping the intake manifold around. Fat tyres, so these are a 40-inch Trepador, and yeah, we'll take a look inside. All right, so now we're inside the vehicle. No doors, you jump through the window. It's just got nets here, so basically all the requirement is just your limbs stay inside the car, so you just got to whack a net on there. These hoses here, you have one for each helmet, so there's a little blower there that actually blows cool air into the helmet because it gets pretty hot out in the desert, so it keeps your insides cool. You can't see it, but in the middle between the seats there's an oil reservoir. That's what the oil for the engine actually sits in because of the dry sump. So when you're running out of space in the engine bay, put your oil between your legs. It's between the seats there. 5-point racing harness on both seats. Navigation, there's not in there at the moment, but there's a big navy that sits there for the navigator to read the maps. There's comms gear there that goes back to home base or your pit crew or whatever to tell you what's going on. There's all sorts of switches up top for lights. Everything on the engine, there's sirens, fuel cut-offs, fan cut-offs, on-off, everything's switchable. All the gauges are here. Now they're color coded as well, so when you start the car, they're red, and when it gets to temperature, they go green. So all you got to look at is the color. So if it's red, it's bad. If it's green, happy days. Little nav man here as well for GPS. Tacho up the top, most important thing. Make sure you're red lining the thing the whole way down the track. And then the gearbox is just it's an auto, so it's a Turbo 400 with an Atlas transfer. So what that means is the transfer is actually shiftable between front and rear. So there's two levers, you can lock the rear in, but you can actually have the front going without the rear wheel spinning to help articulate around tight corners. And then you can go full-time forward drive, of course, as well. There's fire extinguishers everywhere. So there's one under each driver and navigator. There's a couple outside the car as well. So if there's any sort of spark or fire, you can get to that pretty quick, smart. Other than that, rear vision mirrors, a few lights on this thing, and that's about it. That's just scratching the surface of this thing. There's so much going on. Everywhere I look, there's something new. I wish I could go through everything in detail, but we'd be here all day. And sun's going down, and we're gonna go for a drive in this thing. All right, wish me luck. This is why you wear helmets, kids.
Right? Yeah. Fucking hectic, bro. Well, that was a good fucking roll.
This was not part of the plan. The boys heard it all the way back at the shop, just doof.
This is why I don't leave cars.
Yeah, I should have stayed home. Oh, I have a sore neck tomorrow.
He got stuck on the mountain one day, he had to winch himself out there. Take up a bit of that tension. Yeah, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Woo! Let's get back in it.
You're never going to lose your chance. You don't get the cover shot. Yeah, no one's been final than the bike. Another new roof, Ken? Yeah, the roof's a bit bent. I was going to say something's leaking like that.
That's why my neck hurts. The roof's crushed in. Yeah, how many rolls now in this?
Oh, it's had about 5.
5 rolls.
This is the first one in this colour.
Alright guys, well that's the episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'm so glad I'm still alive. Subscribe! Peace! I've just spent 3 months doing engine upgrades on my motor here, and I've been told I'm not allowed to turn the key until you press subscribe. Please press subscribe.